Welcome to our Ethics Lecture Series. This is your Professor Joe. Let us discuss in this episode understanding relativism in general. What does it mean to say that something is true? And more importantly, is morality one of those things that's always true? Or does it change from person to person or culture to culture? Chapter 4 of Ethics Matters explores one of the most controversial and thought-provoking ideas in philosophy, relativism. Relativism is not new. Its roots reach deep into the soil of ancient Greek thought. The philosopher Protagoras famously declared, "Man is the measure of all things." To him, reality and truth itself was always from someone's point of view. But not everyone agreed. Plato challenged this, arguing that if everything is relative, then even Protagoras' claim must be relative, and therefore not universally true. This is known as the self-reputation argument, and it still echoes in philosophical debates today. Through history, relativism found new life in the skepticism of Sextus Empiricus, the cultural awareness of Montaigne, and the romanticism of the Counter-Enlightenment. Later, Nietzsche would push this idea further. He claimed that there are no facts, only interpretations. In the 20th century, Einstein's theory of relativity in physics, even though he warned against it, was misapplied as a metaphor for everything. Truth, language, morality. Relativism, for many, came to symbolize a world where many truths can coexist, a world where openness to difference is a kind of wisdom. We live in a diverse world. Some love spicy food. Others can't stand it. You might wear bright colors while someone else prefers black and white. Classical music, heavy metal, vanilla, chocolate. In these cases, relativism makes sense. These are preferences, not universal truths. Even in broader areas like fashion, humor, or social customs, we see how deeply context shapes meaning. What is polite in one culture, like making direct eye contact, might be rude in another. Time itself is experienced differently across the globe. What's late in one society might be normal in another. All of this shows us some things are relative. Is morality one of them? Here's the key question. If so many things are relative, is morality also relative? Can we say, it's right for me, and stop there? Or must we ask, is it truly right? This question takes us into the heart of ethical relativism, the idea that moral judgments are not universal, but shaped by culture, personality, or situation. Is there still an objective truth? But let's pause. While many things are relative, not everything is. Consider math. Look at 2 plus 2 is always 4. Is the answer dependent on me or on you? Say, a square always has 4 sides and with 4 right angles. There is one way to describe a square. No culture has discovered a version of arithmetic where 2 plus 2 equals 5. So here's the challenge. If some truths are objective, why should we assume morality isn't? Disagreement about morality does not mean there's no truth. It might just mean the truth is harder to find. Epistemology, our ability to know, may be limited, but that doesn't mean the truth doesn't exist. Now the challenge is there an ethical relativism? Ethical relativism says there's no single moral standard that applies to all. Right and wrong depend on personal feelings or cultural context. Let's take 2 examples. In one culture, eye contact is respectful. In another, it's seen as confrontational. Arranged marriages are valued in some societies as honoring family ties. In others, they're seen as restricting personal freedom. Ethical relativism tells us neither is right in a universal sense. Each is right within its own context. There are 2 common forms of ethical relativism. The first one is ethical subjectivism. What's moral depends on your personal beliefs. What's right for you may not be right for me. The second is cultural relativism. What's moral depends on your culture's norms. If society says it's good, it is good for them. So, what does this teach us? That relativism is also affecting the way we see ethics, and this teaches us tolerance, humility, and open-mindedness. It reminds us that our way isn't the only way. But here's the problem. If all morality is relative, can we ever say anything is truly wrong? Can we condemn slavery, genocide, or child abuse if another culture finds them acceptable? Ethical relativism, while promoting tolerance, risks something dangerous: moral paralysis. If we accept everything, can we stand for anything? Let us understand why people embrace ethical relativism. Let's explore 3 common reasons why people accept ethical relativism. First, the claim that there is diversity of moral beliefs. That different cultures disagree about morality. That suggests morality is flexible. Second, that there is moral uncertainty. Sometimes we're unsure about what's right. Third, that we have situational differences. What's right may look different in different circumstances. These are important arguments, but none of them prove that morality is entirely relative. Because all those arguments above are more epistemological in nature, people just fail to know the truth. That even in the absence of knowledge of something, it does not mean there is no truth of something at all. The seeds of relativism go back to thinkers like Herodotus, who noticed every culture thinks its way is best, but that doesn't mean all are equally good. Later, David Hume argued that morality is based on feelings, not facts. He inspired emotivists, who said calling something wrong is like booing at a play. It's not a fact, it's an attitude. This view treats morality like preference. I dislike murder becomes murder is wrong. But again, this raises deep concern. If morality is only a feeling, how do we build laws, rights, or shared responsibilities? Relativism helps us appreciate difference. It's helpful for food, fashion, and fun. But should it govern our ethics? Some actions, like slavery, torture, and genocide, are not just disagreeable. They are fundamentally wrong, no matter the culture. If we lose the ability to call injustice what it is, we lose the ability to defend human rights. So yes, relativism invites us to be careful in judgment, but it must not silence us in the face of evil. My takeaways on this: ethical relativism is not just a theory, it's a lens. It helps us understand difference. It cautions us against arrogance. It reminds us to listen, to learn, and to respect. But it also asks us, what do you believe is worth standing for? Are some things always wrong, no matter who does them? Are some values, like justice, compassion, and human dignity, so deep that they belong to all of us? These are the questions that define ethics, and they are questions each of us must answer. Is morality like math? Or is it more like music, subject to taste? This is the challenge of relativism. It urges us to reflect, not just on others, but on ourselves. And it leaves us with this enduring task: to be open enough to listen, wise enough to discern, and courageous enough to take a stand. When human dignity is on the line, and when human life is at stake. Thank you for joining me in this episode. I hope to see you again in our next topic, the forms of ethical relativism. Bye for now.